At exactly 7 o'clock every morning, the grand mansion came alive. Marble floors reflected the golden chandeliers. Expensive paintings decorated every hallway, and servants hurried from room to room before the billionaire owner arrived. Everything had to be perfect. But on this particular morning, something was terribly wrong. A young maid named Emily Carter, only 29 years old, quietly slipped through the servant entrance, carrying an oversized cleaning bag. Hidden inside the bag wasn't cleaning equipment. It was her 7-year-old daughter, Lily. The little girl was burning with fever. Emily's hands trembled as she helped Lily climb out. The child's face was pale, her breathing uneven, and dark circles surrounded her tiny eyes. Every few seconds, she coughed painfully into a small handkerchief already stained with medicine. Emily's heart shattered every time she heard it. She knew children were forbidden inside the mansion. Employees who broke the rules were fired immediately. But she had no choice. The daycare had refused to accept Lily because of her illness. Emily couldn't afford another day's absence from work. 1 missed paycheck meant unpaid rent. 2 missed paychecks meant homelessness. The hospital had already warned her that Lily needed expensive treatment for a dangerous lung infection. Without stronger medication, the illness could become life-threatening. Emily had sold nearly everything she owned. Her wedding ring, her television, even her mother's necklace. Still, it wasn't enough. She gently kissed Lily's forehead. "Just stay hidden, sweetheart. Mommy will finish quickly." Lily smiled weakly, despite the pain. She had learned not to complain. Not because she wasn't scared. Because she didn't want to make life harder for her mother. Emily placed blankets inside a small, unused storage room beside the laundry area. The room was dusty but warm. She gave Lily a bottle of water, medicine, and an old stuffed rabbit that had survived years of hardship. Then she rushed to begin cleaning before anyone noticed. Every minute felt like walking across broken glass. She constantly glanced toward the storage room. Every cough made her panic. Every passing supervisor made her heart race. Around noon, the mansion became unusually busy. Luxury cars filled the driveway. The owner himself was arriving earlier than expected. The billionaire entrepreneur Daniel Harrison, 43 years old, rarely visited during working hours. His unexpected appearance threw the entire staff into chaos. Managers shouted instructions. Everyone hurried to look busy. Emily's anxiety doubled. She silently prayed Lily would stay asleep. But fate had other plans. A violent coughing fit echoed from the storage room. One supervisor stopped walking. He frowned. What was that? Emily froze. Another cough followed. Louder. The supervisor walked toward the door. Emily rushed forward. "I'll handle it." But he pushed the door open. There, curled beneath an old blanket, lay little Lily, shaking from fever. Silence filled the hallway. The supervisor exploded with anger. "You brought a child here?" Emily burst into tears. "I'm begging you. Please don't fire me." Other servants gathered around. Some looked sympathetic. Others stepped back, afraid of getting involved. Just then, footsteps echoed across the marble hallway. Every employee immediately stood straight. Daniel Harrison had arrived. His expensive shoes stopped directly outside the storage room. He looked inside. His eyes landed on the frightened little girl. Nobody dared breathe. Everyone expected only one outcome: immediate dismissal. But then, Lily slowly looked up. Their eyes met, and she whispered 5 heartbreaking words. "Mommy said rich people don't smile." Daniel's face changed instantly. For the first time in years, the billionaire couldn't find a single word to say. Daniel stood frozen, staring at the little girl whose innocent words pierced through years of emotional walls. The mansion fell silent as everyone waited for his verdict. Instead of shouting, Daniel slowly knelt beside Lily. He touched her forehead. His expression darkened. "She's burning with fever." Emily dropped to her knees, apologizing through tears. She explained everything: her husband's death 2 years earlier, endless medical bills, unpaid rent, and the impossible choice between losing her job or leaving Lily alone. Daniel listened without interrupting. For the first time in years, he remembered his own childhood. His single mother had worked 3 jobs just to keep food on the table. He had promised himself that if he ever became wealthy, No child would suffer the way he had. Yet somewhere along the road to success, he had forgotten that promise. He immediately called his personal physician. Within 20 minutes, a luxury medical team arrived at the mansion. Lily was examined on the spot. The diagnosis shocked everyone. The infection had progressed dangerously. Without immediate treatment and hospitalization, her condition could become fatal within days. Emily broke down completely. She admitted she hadn't been able to afford the prescribed medicine for weeks. Daniel quietly looked at the doctor. Whatever she needs, do it. An ambulance rushed Lily to one of the city's finest private hospitals, with Emily by her side. Daniel personally arranged every payment, refusing to let Emily spend a single dollar. Word of the incident spread among the mansion staff. Many couldn't believe the billionaire had shown such compassion. Meanwhile, Daniel couldn't stop thinking about Lily's words. Rich people don't smile. That sentence echoed in his mind. The next morning, instead of going to a business meeting, he visited the hospital. Lily smiled for the first time in days. She handed him a small drawing she had made. It showed 3 people holding hands beneath a bright blue sky. One of them was Daniel. Without realizing it, tears filled his eyes. Over the following weeks, Lily slowly recovered. The expensive treatment saved her life, but Daniel knew medicine alone wasn't enough. Emily still had no secure future, so he made another decision. He promoted Emily from maid to administrative assistant after discovering she had once studied accounting, but had dropped out to care for her family. The company also paid for her to complete professional training. Within months, Emily's confidence returned. She became one of the most respected employees in Daniel's organization. As for Lily, she regained her health, returned to school, and dreamed of becoming a pediatric doctor, determined to help children whose parents couldn't afford medical care. 1 year later, Daniel announced a foundation dedicated to supporting single parents and children facing medical emergencies. The inspiration behind the foundation wasn't a board meeting or a business strategy. It was one little girl who had whispered 5 unforgettable words in a dusty storage room. At the charity's grand opening, Lily stood beside Daniel and Emily. When reporters asked why he had started the foundation, Daniel simply smiled and pointed toward Lily. She reminded me what success is really for. The crowd applauded through tears. Emily hugged her daughter tightly, grateful that the darkest day of her life had become the beginning of a new future. Sometimes, the greatest miracles don't begin in hospitals or boardrooms. They begin with a desperate mother who refuses to give up, and a child whose honesty melts the heart of a man the world believed had none.